Welcome to Navigating Texas Workforce Commission for Musicians, an interactive panel discussion. Fridays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by the Austin Federation of Musicians and with the Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee. The Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee are members of the Austin Federation of Musicians, Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, aka the Musicians Union. Some of us work as contractor 1099 workers, and others work as employee W-2 workers in various aspects of the music industry.
The goal of this session is to share our experiences, including trials and tribulations related to the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC, with other musicians in the state of Texas to aid in navigating the TWC application process. We are not experts in unemployment assistance. We are musicians.
The information contained herein does not constitute either legal advice or an official pronouncement or a position of the Austin Federation of Musicians, but rather is only the personal opinions of the panelists. The panelists do not give legal advice or make official rulings on agency matters, should not be cited as authorities in any matter before the agency or when dealing with agency staff about a case, and must minimize their involvement with administrative processes. They also do not give legal advice on any other matter, and any information they should give should not be used as a basis for taking any employment-related action. Before taking any employment action that could adversely affect an employee, or before using any sample form or policy you may obtain from this group, you should consult a licensed private sector employment law attorney of your choice. Welcome back. It is July 17th, 2020, a year that we will not soon forget for many reasons. This is the Navigating Texas Workforce Commission for Musicians. We always start the session out with the websites, but usually this is a panel discussion. Today, the most of the panel couldn't make it due to some different activities that they have scheduled, which is good because the business of music is continuing and must continue. So we definitely encourage that. So check back next week, and we'll probably have more of the panel members will be back. But we do have some news, some very important news to discuss this week. So we'll probably have just a short session here. But if you do have comments or questions, please put them in the chat window on the YouTube session here. I've linked some things we're going to talk about in that chat window already. And please feel free to do that. We also take comments at our email address, which is ucac@afm433.com. And we also take them on the Facebook page, which is Austin Federation of Musicians on Facebook. So you can comment just on the event for this discussion. So let us know what you're thinking. But let's go through the websites here. So the most important website for information about the Texas Workforce Commission, of course, is their website, twc.texas.gov, G-O-V. That's where the most up-to-date stuff is. So don't be afraid. Look over there. There's a lot of information on that page. It's very dense, but the updates and the most up-to-date information you can be found there. That's also where you apply for assistance, and that's where you do your bi-weekly payment request, which is really where you declare the income that you made in the previous 2 weeks, every 2 weeks once you're on unemployment assistance. So the next one is, of course, the Texas Workforce Commission on Facebook, and that's just facebook.com/Texas Workforce Commission, all one word. And they have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They always have a press conference, and where journalists are allowed to ask questions about what's going on. The public cannot ask a question, but you can ask a journalist to ask a question for you. And then there's also a comment feed, or the chat feed that goes by on those press conferences. It's very, very active, though. It spins by pretty quickly, but you may get you may get a response that way as well. but that's at 2 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it's coming up at 2 o'clock Central after this. So and that always has the most up-to-date stuff, the announcements and things like that from the Texas Workforce Commission. We have our local 433 musicians unemployment information sharing page on Facebook, and that you just search local 433 musicians unemployment information, and you can find that. But there's a link in the details down below, and our local Austin Federation of Musicians COVID-19 resource page, which is just afm433.com/COVID-19. That has a lot of very useful local and national resources for musicians. We're trying to keep that list short, as short as we can, so that it's useful. A lot of link lists are getting into the tens of thousands of links now, and it's difficult to tell what's actually what the best resources really are. So we're trying to keep that pretty focused. But if you know anything that should be on there, let us know. Because we can't be everywhere at once. And then the last website that we always mention now is Who Represents Me, and that's how you find out who your representatives are in the state legislature and also the national legislature, and I think it even has the state school board on there, and that's wrm.capitol.texas.gov, and that's where you can put your address in, and it will tell you who your representatives are in the state house, the state senate, and then the U.S. House, U.S. Senate, so you can let them know what's going on. In particular, the Texas State Senate has been fairly helpful for us in getting help to musicians whose TWC applications have needed work, have needed updates. It's very difficult. Actually, it's impossible. Once you put your application in there, you cannot update it yourself. You have to talk to someone on the phone inside the TWC, and it's very difficult to get through to someone. So the Texas Senators' offices have been helpful in getting a call to someone from within the TWC. Also, the Texas Music Office has been able to do that. HAM has been working on that, our local Health Alliance for Austin musicians. So there's help out there. Don't give up, please. So those 6 websites are we always tell folks to check those out if you haven't already, and you're looking for information about the Texas Workforce Commission or about unemployment assistance. That's where to go. So we usually mention beverages. I've got coffee today. I think that's the usual, and I hope you're enjoying something at your place. So yeah, let's see. Do we have any comments from the chat? Okay, well, let's talk about the 2 things I've got in the chat already. The first one is the letter writing campaign from the AFM to the United States Senate about the CARES Act, and it's the pandemic unemployment assistance that many folks are receiving. Is that extra $600 a week that's put on top of your unemployment assistance, and that comes from the federal government. That is ending at the end of next week, and the United States Senate is not in session until Monday the 20th. So we're hoping something gets done about that, because a lot of people are relying on that right now. Now, just because that's going away doesn't mean the rest of your unemployment assistance is going away, but many contractors get kind of the bare minimum of unemployment assistance, and then the $600 is quite a bit. Well, it's not quite a bit more, but it's a little bit more significant, and really helps getting you through and paying that rent when there's no income coming in as a contractor, particularly for musicians. So that's very important. That letter writing campaign is at the Action Network, and it's the first link in the chat right now. But we've been posting it on our Facebook page and on our Instagram page, and so is the AFM, the international organization as well. So that's really important. It's really easy to write that letter. it goes to a link with a sample letter already written, and you can edit it to reflect your situation, or you can just send it off as it is. It's very, very fast and easy, and it really helps because, like I said, the Senate is going to be back in their offices on Monday. So I think we need to make sure that that we're letting them know that people need this help, and that they need to do something, because the Heroes Act has been, you know, waiting on the desk of the U.S. Senate for months now. It passed through the House, at least 2 months ago, and it's been waiting on the Senate to do something with it. So, so we got to let them know. The letter writing campaign is the best way to do it. It's really easy. The second link is the 10-point plan that the Texas AFL-CIO has proposed for reforming the Texas Workforce Commission, particularly the unemployment part of it. It's a link to the Texas AFL-CIO website, and it has the plan laid out. That's been out for a couple of weeks now, and the Texas Workforce Commission, hasn't really commented on it that I know of, but it's really kind of the most sensible way forward in a lot of ways. Although, this is not a plan that's made by the Texas Workforce Commission. It's made by the Texas AFL-CIO. So it's kind of like what we as unions would like to see happen with that system. So, Anyway, there's links to support that, as well as a letter writing campaign as well on that link. So check that out. That's something you can do in this time where it feels like there's not a lot we can do. There is, and people do care. What we think and what we say and what we write. Yeah. You're not alone, and you're not helpless either. Like, let's do something to make this situation better. So, the only real news we have this week, as far as unemployment, is that like we said, that the pandemic unemployment assistance is going to end next week in Texas, at least on the 25th of July, and that's going to create a huge problem for a lot of folks. So we really need to get that taken care of. That's coming up. There's a lot of articles about it. If you're on unemployment assistance, you've already received several notices about it, probably. There isn't anything that the Texas unemployment system can do about that, because that's federal money. So it has to be the Senate. The Senate has to act on this. If the Senate, creates its own response to the Heroes Act, then the House will have to act on that. So it's really up to our federal legislators to get something done with that particular part of the puzzle. Please let them know, and let's have something. Let's have a pile of letters on their desk when they get back on Monday, and need to start doing something about this. So. The other news is sort of a few weeks old, about the work search requirements that were going to be reinstated on July 6th by the Texas Workforce Commission. It was delayed, and no date has been put forward as to when those might be reinstated. But that's the requirement, that you have to list how many work searches you did each week that you request benefits, and potentially you have to document them, and you should document them as you go, so that if it's ever requested, you can provide that documentation, right? That requirement's been waived during the pandemic, and it was going to be reinstated on the 6th, and then there was a lot of public outcry, obviously, because it's not really that safe to go out and look for work right now, although you can do it online. But it was delayed, but there has been a date that's come forward. Not really a date. They just said late July it'll be looked at again. And of course, now it's pretty much late July. It's the 17th, so we're getting into the second half of the month. So we may hear something about that next week. That's something to look out for and look at. So it's important to know if you are a member of a labor union, you do not have to, well, at least a labor union that has a hiring hall or similar. That's the wording they use, and it means if your union is looking for work on your behalf, you don't need to do a work search at all for unemployment as long as you're a member in good standing. But the unions are not recruiting on that, and in fact, the unions have been opposed to the reinstatement of the work search requirement all along. But if you are a union member, it's important to know that. So there we go. What else here? Do we have any questions? I'm not seeing any questions coming in here. Let me just check the Facebook event page here, and if not, I think we'll just sign off for this week. Yeah, but the big takeaways are, yeah, please write that letter to your senator and let them know that they need to do something about the pandemic unemployment assistance from the federal government. It's just absolutely crucial. So. Yeah, all right. Well, if you are in the music industry, don't give up. Please stay in the music industry, and we are all going to get through this together. Please contact the Austin Federation of Musicians if you need help with unemployment and you're a musician. We can help. We're helping everybody with that right now because it's an industry concern, and yeah, we gotta do this. So we'll see you next week, and don't give up. Thanks.